Our cost base was too high. We needed to reduce the costs because it was not sustainable. And then you have to do what is right for the company. And we had to reduce the organization. And the organization had been through 2 downsizing rounds just a few months and years before. Especially coming in and after 2 months you have to do this. That's a tough one. But still, as a new CEO, I think you have some time to actually do the hard stuff because everyone in the organization expects you to do something when you get in. So it's something about not waiting too long either and to do that quite quickly.
The story of management consultant to CEO is a common one, but when that management consultant happens to be a woman and when the industry happens to be the outdoor industry, unfortunately, it's all too uncommon. But that's exactly the story of today's guest, Silje, the CEO of Bergans of Norway. I chat with Silje about her experiences working within a large public corporate environment, then transitioning to a private equity-backed fitness business that ultimately IPO'd. Silje shares her experiences and surprises of stepping into that first CEO role, as well as those key success factors that she's identified in leading a transformation. My name's Dan Trapp. This is Sports and Outdoor Mentors. And if you like what we're doing, please hit that like button or leave us a comment. And please don't forget to subscribe or follow. Today's guest is Silje Garberg Ree, the CEO of Bergans of Norway. And we're going to be covering a few different topics with Silje, including her career path from starting out in business consulting with BCG, then moving on to a corporate public food business, then moving to a fitness, gym, private equity initially, and then IPO'd business. And in 2024, taking that step up to CEO at Bergans. So welcome, Silje.
Thank you so much.
I understand that actually, the outdoors and the mountains were kind of a key part of your childhood, and actually that was the first time that you kind of engaged with Bergans as a brand. So how does it feel all those years later to now be leading that business?
It feels fantastic. I grew up in the mountains up north in Norway, and before I was barely able to walk, I've been having skis on my feet, and nature was my playground as a little girl. And I grew up with Bergans, the brand. It has always been a part of me. Actually, in the barn at home, we have 3 old backpacks from Bergans on the wall. I think they are from the 50s or 60s. So outdoors and also Bergans has always been a part of me. So it feels great to actually get the opportunity to lead this amazing company.
Yeah, excellent. But as I mentioned, so you started out your career in business consulting for obviously Boston Consulting Group, so big, very well-known company. But actually you only stayed, I think, for around 4 years. And I think you took the kind of conscious decision to step away from consulting at a reasonably early, let's say. Why was that? What drove that decision?
I think, coming out from business school, I was young, 22 years old, and then getting into consultancy is a really fantastic opportunity as a fresh out of school, then I got to, you get a very quickly exposure to top management in the companies you work for, being a part of creating strategies and influencing very important decisions in big companies. So it was a really steep learning curve, and you get a toolbox, of how to solve quite complex problems, how to use data in decisions, and how to impact at a quite high level. So I learned a lot. It was quite challenging in the start, but I also got, the confidence when you saw that, okay, but I can actually handle this. But still, I felt after 3, almost 4 years that, okay, I get to influence big decisions. I work with a lot of different industry topics and very competent people, but still I only got to see a fraction of business. Because you sit there and make all these nice PowerPoints and strategies and being a part of that processes, but still you miss the implementation of the things you work with and recommend. After 2-3 months, you pull out of a project. And I felt that, okay, that is when the real hard work starts. And I was curious about, okay, but how did it work out? What was the actual result of the work and the recommendations we did? So I think it was a very good start of the career. I learned a lot, but I missed sort of the full picture.
Yeah.
So I think, going out from school, it's a great start. But if you really want to do business, you shouldn't stay maybe too long.
Yeah.
For some people, that's the right thing to do and to be in consultancy. But for me, it was not right to stay too long. Yeah. So I think 3 or 4 years that was enough for me.
Yeah, and as you said, it was a good school in terms of kind of building that toolbox, to use your analogy there. But were you, when you took that first step into more operational leadership, let's say, were there things that you were able to kind of clearly take from your experience in consulting and really use that in those early roles?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you learn is to get an overview over a problem or a task quite quickly. And you learn to process a lot of information and to really sort out, okay, what is important here. And also to structure the work and do the right priorities. So that is something that has been very valuable to me throughout my whole career. So that was really great. But then also when you move into, I call it real business, you understand that the hard thing is not making all the nice strategies and solve the problem. The hard thing is to actually make it happen. And that's where people comes to play, because you need to get the team, to get people with you on that journey, and to get the machinery to work together. Yeah. And that is really the hard part. So that was maybe my most important learning from the time in Orkla, the company I moved into after BCG. How do you actually make things happen? Yeah. And also learning the more operationally parts of business. I was in different roles, including sales and marketing, and see what it really takes to drive change. Yeah, yeah. So was there any kind of adjustments that you had to make, or maybe things that you almost had to unlearn moving from consulting into, as you describe it, as real business? I'm sure the consultants listening are horrified to hear that, but yeah, we definitely get it. No, but consultancy it's an amazing place to be to learn business and test different industries and meet different people at a very high level. But what I needed to focus less on, the creating the perfect strategies and the perfect analysis and having all the right data and making these nice presentations. I started to try to actually make more ugly presentations to do it faster, because I knew that, okay, it's not about the presentations and the strategies, it's about taking action and working on making it happen. So that was a process for me, because you get a bit, you want everything to be perfect as a consultant, because you work for clients and it needs to be very professional and everything needs to be perfect. But when you are in the actual business and you own also the process and the implementation, that needs to be the focus. Yeah. Not how nice the PowerPoint looks. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, interesting. That makes complete sense. So with Orkla, that was your first, or your experience rather, in a large public company, and then at SATS rather, you joined at a time when they were private equity owned. So looking back at those periods with those very different kind of ownership structures, what were the kind of big differences in terms of the leadership approach, if there was any, and what did you kind of take away from both of those very different experiences?
Yeah, Orkla is a very big company. It's the largest consumer branded company in the Nordics, listed, and a lot of people working there, a lot of business units. And I spent actually 7 years there, but moving in between different positions and also different functional areas. But what started to not frustrate me, but I felt that, okay, it's a lot of focus on processes, taking decisions takes quite a lot of time, because you need to go through all the layers, and it was difficult, at least in a position where you're not a part of the top management, to really get the impact on the totality. So I felt that, okay, I want to try to work in a smaller company, a more fast-paced environment. So that's why I moved into SATS to try that, and I got a position in the management team there. In a period where we were, as you say, then private equity owned, so the pace was high, decisions were taken quite quickly, but still the professional take on, using data and guiding decisions through facts. So it was a very professional environment, but still much higher pace. Yeah. And I really liked that. Yeah. Because then you get to influence, but also make things happen much quicker. Yeah. Yeah. So that was a big difference.
Yeah, I'm sure. But then it's somehow slightly ironic that then you were part of the team that then led the business through IPO. So that must have been a quite amazing experience, I would imagine. What were your kind of takeaways from that?
Yeah, it's moving from private equity owned to IPO, it doesn't really change the company, but it changes the way you have to handle communication, both internally, because you need to be much more strict on what information and figures you are sharing with whom. And also you get more focus from media, from investors, the eyes are on your business. Yeah. So that changes some of the ways of working, but still I think we managed to keep, the fast pace and also the long-term thinking. Because I think it's easy to get stuck in this, the quarterly reporting, and you have to show the results every quarter. But we managed to find that balance between long-term perspectives, but also keep the momentum up on the reporting and the figures. Yeah. So even if it sounds like a big change, I don't think it changed much of, the underlying business.
Okay, interesting. So then in May 2024, you joined Bergans as CEO. So I'm interesting that was your, or rather is and still is your first CEO role. What were in those first weeks and months, what were the big surprises, or if there were any surprises?
Not that many surprises, but I think for me, moving from having these functional responsibilities from before, where maybe the focus was mostly on execution, then I needed to shift my focus on creating clarity and direction. And that was a big change, because suddenly you have the total organizational responsibility. That's a change, because you need to work in a different way. You have people that are responsible for execution, but they need the clarity and the direction.
Yeah.
Because if you are not clear about the direction, you don't get the speed and the results.
Yeah.
And I saw that, okay, I need to get this in place quite quickly, because Bergans is, we were in a phase where the whole industry had suffered after the pandemic. So it was a tough situation. And we needed to be really, really clear about the priorities and, make the team and the organization to move into the right direction quite quickly.
Yeah.
So it was not a surprise. I was prepared for it, but it was a change in the mindset that I needed to have, and the way of working.
And would you say then that bringing clarity and clear communication, would you say that that's one of, or the most important kind of tasks that you have then as a CEO today?
Yeah, I think that's the most important task of all leaders and CEOs. Because if you are not clear, and if you don't have a clear direction, then it's very difficult for the organization to do the right things and take action.
Yeah.
And if you don't take action, you don't move forward. So that's the most important task for a CEO. In addition to securing that, it's all about the people. You have to have the right team, the right organization. So I think the two most important things for a CEO is, number one, clarity and direction, and number two, secure that you have the right people in place.
Yeah. And you obviously emphasized the people there, and you said earlier on, about the fact that, or you said in previous discussions that, this business is about people, right? But also when you joined, it had been a challenging time for the business, and there'd been some reorganizations, etc. So are you able to kind of rebuild that confidence and trust with the team? Because that must be difficult, because for the team, for lots of changes over the years and through a tough business period, to kind of come in as the CEO, it's like all eyes are on you. But how did you then, build that trust and confidence with the team, would you say? Or what was your approach to that?
I think it starts with communication. Being as open as you can be.
Yeah.
You cannot always say everything, but as open as you can be about the situation in the company. How's it going? What is working? What is not working as good as it should? And then quite quickly create that clarity around direction.
Yeah.
And I believe in involvement. So we have done quite a lot of work on the strategy and the direction now, and we have involved more or less the whole organization in that work. And of course, as a CEO and with the management team, you have to, set the boundaries and the priorities. But I think it's so important to create the ownership amongst the team and the organization. And that starts with understanding about where are we, what are the biggest challenges for us right now, what do we need to fix, but also being a part of setting the direction and aligning on the goals.
Yeah.
Because then the motivation also comes. You take the ownership and you feel that you are a part of something bigger than only the one piece that you're going to work with in the big puzzle. And then I think it's also, creating the vision and showing, okay, but what can this look like in 2, 3, 4, 5 years?
Yeah.
And create the excitement around that vision so that people, okay, this is something we want to be a part of. We are a part of something bigger here.
Yeah.
To create that spirit, it's really crucial.
Yeah.
And then, if people know what the status are and what are our challenges and what do we need to fix, but they also see a clear path to something that is even bigger and better, then then you are maybe more prepared and ready for doing the hard work also, because it's not always sunshine and
For sure.
it is hard work,
Yeah.
but it's more motivational when you see that okay, this is the direction we are moving into.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, it's not always easy and not always good. When you look back at your first coming up to 2 years in a few months here, what's been the most difficult thing that you've had to do, but also what's been something that actually you felt very natural, that came very easy to you?
Yeah, the most difficult part was when I started. Of course, I used the data and digged into the financials, and I saw that our cost base was too high. We needed to reduce the costs because it was not sustainable. And then you have to do what is right for the company.
Yeah.
And we had to reduce the organization, and the organization had been through 2 downsizing rounds just a few months and years before.
Okay.
But it was not enough, and that's the hardest part of being a leader, when you have to reduce and take out people. So that was really hard. But I was also prepared for it, because I saw also that, okay, this might be a problem. So I was prepared. But that was tough. And also especially coming in, and after 2 months you have to do this, that's a tough one. But still, as a new CEO, I think you have some time to actually do the hard stuff, because everyone in the organization expect you to do something when you get in. So it's something about not waiting too long either, and to do that quite quickly. But then, doing this process, but also all the people that were supposed to continue to work in Bergans, you need to keep up the motivation and also create this trust and psychological safety for those people. And that's hard when you start with this kind of tough processes. But then again, it's all about communication, doing the process in a fair and human and in the right way, to handle everyone in a good way. And then when you're finished with that, then you have to look forward and get the energy back in the team. So what we did after the downsizing was to put everyone here in the office at one floor. We were at 2 floors before that. And when you are less people, you have to make sure that everyone has the energy, and when you go to work, it's not only empty premises.
Yeah.
So we put everyone on the same floor, opening up, and also made sure to have some social happenings and have fun, because I really think it's important to have fun also, even if it's hard work and a lot of things to fix.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you manage, because as you said, I think bringing people back together on the same floor, how do you also manage that though because I don't know what sort of system you operate in terms of work from home, because I think it's difficult to build that culture and that spirit when the team is very fragmented, because some days people are away or at home. So how have you managed that? Because that's pretty tough in this climate, I would say.
Yeah, and I think after the pandemic, I think people expect, especially the younger ones, actually expect some flexibility in where to work from and when to work. But at the same time, you need to make sure that you bring people together, because the magic happens when you are together. You work physically together. You have the discussions over the table, not with a screen between you. So what we have done is that we have 3 days, that is, then everybody needs to be in the office. And then we have 2 days where you can work from home if you want to. But we don't call it work from home days. Yeah. It's we try to be in the office as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then we have some gatherings. Every month we have all hands meeting or a gathering here. And there we share a business update, dive into some projects in the organization that we talk about, all the financials, how's it going with the sales and everything.
Yeah.
And that kind of gatherings we try to have on the days that people can work from home, but to try to get people into the office.
Yeah. Well, again, it goes back to that communication, doesn't it? I think that transparency as much as you can, because then, like you said, people feel like they're part of something. They understand what's happening from a bigger picture, because everybody's so busy that it's easy to kind of be focused on what you're doing and not kind of stop and look up and see the bigger picture. So that's great, and you've got a super nice space here to do that. So I can kind of imagine the team on the steps there sitting down. So that's great. So what's the best piece of advice you've received since you've become CEO? And who from, if you're able to share?
I think the best piece of advice, I don't think I got it after I became the CEO, but before, and I don't remember who I got it from. I think it was probably my mom. But that's about trusting my instincts. Because I think, especially with a background as a consultant, you are very dependent on data and information to make decisions. But you cannot always wait for the perfect information. And if you don't take action and decisions fast enough, it might be too late, or you will, So you have to create that speed and that momentum. And to be able to take decisions also when you don't have the perfect information. So I think, using the information you have got, and for me it's also about discussing with people that I trust in the organization and around me to get some perspectives. But then you have to rely on I think it's your gut feel, but it's also based on all the experience you've gotten over the years that tells you something. So I think that's the best advice, and not to wait for the perfect solution.
Yeah.
Because then you
Never move.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So in the past, you've described Bergans as a strong brand that has that kind of deserves to thrive based on its kind of heritage and history. But obviously, as you've explained, it had been through some difficult times. So what was it that you saw that made you feel, this is the right opportunity for me? This is something where obviously you've had a good feeling that you could have a positive impact. So what did you see that gave you that confidence, that feeling?
I think it's the history and the heritage of Bergans. This company has existed since 1908.
Wow.
So it's a fantastic story, and everything is rooted on innovation with Ole F. Bergen, who invented the modern backpack. It's actually quite cool. If you search the English dictionary for Bergens, you get the definition of a backpack.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing starting point and history, and Bergens has equipped explorers from Roald Amundsen to Sir Edmund Hillary on Mount Everest, and it's a fantastic history built on innovation and quality. And also the fact that Bergens is so strong in Norway. It's really a brand that people know and have used and have emotional feelings about. So with that as a basis, and also the strength when it comes to product innovation, quality, really creating high quality products, that's a good starting point. And then Bergans also operate in an industry that I think have the right fundamentals to succeed also in the future. And that has been important for me when choosing which companies to work for, that this is a company that, I think can also thrive in the future based on the market developments. And being outdoor, enjoying nature, that is something that will not be gone in the future. It will be even more important, I think.
Yeah.
And with all the problems now connected to mental health and inactivity, I think there's really room for companies like Bergans. So it's a combination of, the industry, but also a company with a very strong heritage, very strong brand. You have the storytelling, and you also have the team and the competence. So for me, it was like, okay, but of course this company is going to succeed. We just need to do the right things in the right order.
Yeah.
And I also would love to bring this amazing brand also out in new markets internationally.
Yeah.
Because I think we have a reason to play.
Yeah, absolutely. But I always think it's a difficult balance, because amazing heritage, like you said, but it's how do you make that kind of relevant for the consumer today, which I think, for some of the reasons you just mentioned, but also obviously the fact that we're all connected basically 24/7 pretty much, and certainly the youngsters connected to their phones almost 24/7. How do you how are you making a brand with such great heritage still relevant in the world today?
I think it's about the authenticity and the emotional connection, because looking at the market is overflooded with products and gear. It's too much, and then it boils down to are you able to create that emotional connection with the consumer? And I was actually surprised, but I read somewhere that 95% of all purchase decisions are based on emotions. So I think you need to connect with your customer, really understand the needs, and in order to create that emotional connection, you need the authenticity. The consumer needs to believe in you. And then it's all about the storytelling, the credibility and the values that needs to be reflected in everything you do.
Yeah.
From everything to, product sustainability, the way you communicate, the way you act, the whole way.
Yeah.
And then also when it comes to products, as I said, there's so many products out there, a lot of similar products. So you need to differentiate in a way. And I think that's partly about, you have to have the quality, the functionality. But I think also looking at the trends now when it comes to sustainability and not buying too much stuff, it's about versatility. I don't want 10 different shell jackets because I want to use one when I'm skiing and one when I'm walking the dog and one when I'm hiking in the mountains. I want one jacket that I can use for different purposes. That's much more sustainability. Yeah. And also when, when I buy that jacket, I want it to last. I don't want to change it next year because it's a new fashion color or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's on the product side. We also need to keep that in mind. You need to create products that works in everyday life for the consumer and that lasts. But also they need to look good because especially the younger ones, it needs to look cool. If not, they will not buy it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned a few minutes ago that you felt or you saw quite clearly that the brand had opportunity within the industry, within the market. So I'm interested, as somebody that didn't necessarily have any professional experience before within the outdoor industry, what were your impressions of the industry when you joined? Maybe the first 6-12 months. What surprised you? And what did you? What were your impressions of the industry?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of very passionate and experienced people that has been in the industry for a very long time. And that's amazing. It's a lot of passion. But also it's a lot of, I think, established truths about the industry and how to do things and the processes and for me, I'm a curious person, and I have no problem asking why is that and why do we do it this way, and I think the industry also needs people from the outside to challenge and bring fresh perspectives. So it was interesting to see how much people that has been in the industry for such a long time. But I think the industry needs more people from the outside to balance that out and to move the industry forward.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it's I think the risk is that you have the same pool of people fundamentally moving from brand to brand, business to business. And it's very interesting if you look back at the surf apparel industry in the early 2000s was very strong. There were big, massive billion-dollar brands, Quicksilver, etc. But a lot of that market, it was very insular, and there was a bit of the mindset of I know you, I surf with you or whatever, and now I'm being a little bit simplistic in the explanation, but, it was the same pool of people that were going around. and ultimately that market, in comparison to where it was, died actually. It's now tiny compared to what it used to be. And I think that's a big risk for outdoor apparel particularly, because I see the same thing as you. It's the same people moving round and round, and I think that leads to a lack of innovation. And here I'm not just talking about innovation from a product point of view. I think a go-to-market point of view, a process, supply chain, whatever it is. And I think that's so important. But yeah, it's almost like that kind of passion is blurring the people's visions to addressing this, because for me it's super important, and I think you're absolutely right. I think that's critical, but not so many people I think see it, unfortunately. What do you think the industry does particularly well, though? Is there anything that you think, okay, yeah, that's something that they're doing well, or we're doing well as an industry?
I think it's back to the passion and values. I've never experienced an industry that is so, rooted on passion and the values and the purpose of getting people out in nature and being active. And that is amazing, at least for me, because I've always been drawn towards, products and brands that really matters in people's lives. And here it really matters, because especially in Norway, being out in the nature is a so important part of our lives. And we are making apparel and equipment, but we are also, helping people to get out in nature, and that can sometimes you can have experiences out in nature that can be life-defining, So I think that is a really, really strength of this industry. Yeah. It's not like working in a bank or, you really have a clear purpose. You don't have to be extremely creative to find the purpose of a business in the outdoor industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And other than the diversity of leadership topic that we just discussed, is there anything else that you think as an industry that there's an opportunity for the industry to really move forward and be more relevant in the market? Is there anything that comes to mind, or?
Yeah, I will, as a female leader, I will say that I'm a bit surprised of, we talked about diversity in terms of bringing people in from the outside, but it's quite male-dominated, especially at the top and in the boardrooms. And even if it's, it's not a problem, but you just feel that subtle influence it has on decisions and perspectives and the way things are being done. Yeah. So that is actually something that I will work for, to get more women, especially into top positions, because we are a very important part of the outdoor market. For sure. Yeah. I would guess that we maybe buy more than the males. Yeah. So.
Or certainly control more of the spending.
Yes. So and that is also something we work with in Bergans here. We are actually more females than men in the management team. But when it comes to product development, product innovation, I think a lot of the outdoor gear now is based on the needs for men. And it has been very hard to find products that combine, the technicality, the quality, the functionality with a feminine design and solutions for female that makes it fit better and work better when you're active.
Yeah.
So I think there's some opportunities there, and we are working with it. We will launch our female hiking collection, especially tailored for females, with a bit more feminine design, cut lines, color palettes. It's more playful. We will launch that for fall now, so that will be exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for me, it's I'm glad that you mentioned that, because for me it's the same. It's a different angle of the same topic in terms of that diversity of thought, as you said, whether it's industry, whether it's gender, whether it's nationality, whatever it might be. It's proven in so many cases that when you have diversity of thought at that leadership level, ultimately the results are higher on average. And yet, I agree, as an industry, we are still, unfortunately, leadership still look very much like me, which isn't good for anyone. So there's an opportunity, but I think it's, in fact, I think it's more than opportunity. I think it's necessity.
Yes.
I think actually, if it doesn't happen, that should be viewed more as a risk. So yeah. Okay. So as a CEO, what do you spend most of your time on? Where is most of your focus?
Most of my focus is developing my team, following up, securing that they have a clear direction, being a good sparring partner. Sometimes pushing a bit to make sure that we move in the right direction.
Yeah.
So that's what I spend most time on.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's too much meetings. I need to be disciplined to carve out time to really think, because I think that's also a very important part of being a CEO and a leader, because you need to be 2 or 3 steps ahead of the organization to make sure that we also move in the right direction long term.
Yeah.
And set the right priorities long term.
Yeah.
So I try to carve out the time, but it's hard.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think again, it's the same thing. It's that kind of being connected 24/7. It is difficult to disconnect, well, probably spending time outside gives you the best opportunity to think. Leave the phone at home, and But no, it's. I think we all say it, but I think we all also find it very difficult to do it.
Yeah, it's hard, because I have 2 fairly small kids, and of course they need to be my first priority.
Yeah.
That's very important to me. But you also need to find that balance of taking care of yourself, and for me to take care of my energy, because that's the most important thing that I have, my energy, because I need that to follow up the team and do the things I need to do in my role. So I think it's all about, they say it when you're flying, you have to put on your own oxygen mask first.
Yeah.
And that, I think that it's an important reminder. So for me, I need to exercise because that clears my mind. Going out running and spending time in nature, and also get enough sleep. That's a non-negotiable for me. I have to. And then when that is in place, it's my family to make sure that I have quality time with them.
Yeah.
Because it brings fresh perspectives, and it reminds you of what truly matters.
Yeah.
And then I think it's very hard to find that balance, but if you manage to do that, you will make sure that you can stay in this game for a long time, because this is not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to have the endurance. So it's very important to protect yourself.
Yeah.
And take care of that, because if not, you will not manage this kind of role.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned earlier on that one of the changes from moving from consulting into real business was the fact that things are rarely perfect. You can't wait until something's perfect before you move. You just have to move. But is there something that you do or that happens in the business that for you is like you refuse to compromise on? It has to be at a certain level.
It's a hard question, but I think for me, if people say that they are going to do something and deliver something, and that goes for myself also, then it has to be done. Because if you promise something to someone, then you deliver on it.
Yeah.
That's a non-negotiable. And things can happen. Things can get in your way, and things are not working out the way you hoped for. But then I expect to get information, and I'm sorry, I will not be able to deliver this on Friday because this and this, but I will do my best to have it in place on Monday. To have that communication.
Yeah.
So that's sort of a non-negotiable for me. And also, it's also what we promise our customers. What we promise to our customers, we need to deliver on.
Yeah.
And that is why quality and the products we create, it needs to deliver on the customer promise.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all about trust.
Yeah, for sure. So looking back over your career, is there one failure or mistake that stands out in your mind that was a big kind of learning opportunity for you?
I've done many mistakes, a lot of mistakes, and I believe in making mistakes, because I usually say to my kids, we do a lot of skiing, downhill skiing, and I say to them, if you have not fallen once during the day, then you have not tried hard enough.
Yeah.
You haven't run fast enough. Because I think doing mistakes, that's how you really learn.
Yeah.
And then it's different levels of mistakes. Some of the mistakes it's not important. You can fix it. You just need to fix it afterwards.
Yeah.
And then other mistakes are worse, higher risk, and I think the biggest mistakes I made was to hire the wrong people in the wrong roles. I've done that a couple of times, and that comes with a high cost.
Yeah.
One thing is the time you have spent in the recruitment process, but also the direct cost. But I think the worst is the cost for the organization of getting a wrong leader in a wrong role.
Yeah.
So that's a tough one. But then I think it's very important to take the consequences of it as fast as possible and to do something about it.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to just say, okay, but I will give it some more time, and we will make it work, and then it just gets worse. So at some point of time, you need to give it some time, but you need to be very quick if you see that this will be difficult.
Yeah.
So I've learned that it's very easy to get blinded in an interview setting, but you really need to dig deep into the personality and everything that lies underneath a fancy, nice CV.
Yeah.
And I also started to involve more people from the organization that I really trust into the recruitment processes to get their perspective and also test the fit, the cultural fit from that person, because it's not always about the competence, but it's also about, does this person fit into the organization and the culture?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, for sure. Well, I can, I definitely hear that come up quite a lot, given my professional focus as well. But yeah, it's often the thing that, as you said, it on the surface sometimes it feels like a small thing, but the ripple effect of a bad hire is felt far and wide. Yeah, it's a good one. That's a good one. And I didn't plant that. That wasn't that was a complete coincidence. What 3 pieces of advice would you give to future female leaders in our industry?
I would say dare to take responsibility. I guess that goes for all females. Because I think a challenge, especially with females, is perfectionism. And I think perfectionism is the enemy of action. So dare to take action, dare to take responsibility, because confidence follows responsibility and action. So that's the first thing, and then challenge established truths. Dare to challenge. And when you think that, why is this working this way, or why are we doing it this way? Dare to ask. And then third advice is to take other strong females with you on your way. Support each other, help each other out, because we need more strong women in leadership. And then we need each other to help each other out.
So if today was your last day at Bergans and you were going to retire and live in the mountains in northern Norway, what would your message be to the team?
It would be to be bold, to keep pushing the industry forward, and to trust themselves and take care of each other, because this is a teamwork. I think the team here is really strong. It's a lot of great people, a lot of competence. I think they can do whatever they decide to do.
Yeah.
They just need to have the guts and help each other.
Great. What a perfect way to end. So thank you very much for your time, Silje, and sharing so many great insights and stories. It's been super interesting, and I'm sure very valuable for the audience. So I really appreciate you taking the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan, for a great conversation.
I hope you enjoyed my chat with Silje as much as I did. If you did, please leave us a comment below or a review. And look out for my next episode when I'm chatting with Georgina Kirby, the GM of Carry Tra. So make sure to follow or subscribe so you don't miss that and all our other episodes. See you soon.